Hey Spuds, how's it going and welcome back to another video. Thank you for clicking on it, and this video is my 1 month post-op update. How have I been healing? How are the balls settling into their new home? Very well. Spoiler. So this video is just a little recap of the last month and how it compares to other surgeries I've had and all of that stuff. The Q&A is not going to be in this video. I will talk about that more later. This is purely just a how has the healing gone so far video. Firstly, the experience of having surgery from like the lead up to actually being in the hospital to the recovery has been significantly easier than the first time around. Like the difference is night and day. It's ridiculous how much easier this has been. I did not expect it to be this much easier. It's been even easier in every aspect than top surgery, and I am so happy and so grateful. If you haven't watched my previous bottom surgery vlogs, I have left the link to the full playlist down below in the description box. If you're interested on just knowing the full journey up to now, go check it out. If you're not and you just want to know what it's been like the first month having balls, then stay here and carry on watching this video. It's up to you. As a very quick recap, I had first stage metoidioplasty on the 13th of January 2018, and this involved the release of my penis. So it was like freestanding, and it like it makes it into a tube basically, rather than being like attached to you via a ligament and bits of skin and stuff. Oh, that's getting too technical. This is meant to be a quick recap. Also with this, the creation of a scrotum like behind it. I mean, it wouldn't be in front of it, that would be very odd placement. And I personally did not opt to have urethral lengthening, so I still sit down to pee, but you can have your urethra lengthened so you can pee standing up from your penis. But yeah, first stage was a little bit of a nightmare. I'm not gonna lie, I had a hematoma, an arterial bleed, and it spurted everywhere. It was very dramatic and gross and freaked me out a lot. I had to be like rushed down for an emergency second surgery a few days after my first surgery, and I was in hospital for a week, had a catheter for like 2 weeks or a bit more than 2 weeks, and the whole experience was just terrifying and a bit of a nightmare, and I had like major flashbacks for a year or so after, and it's only actually been very recently that I've felt like I've gotten over that experience and I don't like think about it anymore. Yeah, it wasn't great. Naturally, I was really like pooping myself about having surgery again. I made a video a while back saying I didn't want to have surgery again. Like, I want the results, I wanted to be done and actually have the surgery, but I didn't want to have another procedure and have potentially stuff go wrong again, and I was just very scared. And when I got the phone call that was like, hey, we have a date, do you want surgery? I said yes on the phone. I was like, yeah, I'm free that day. Thank you very much. This is exciting and scary, blah, blah, blah. And then I hung up the phone. I was like, oh, do I really want to do this? Should I delay it? Like, should I go through with this? I'm really scared and I don't know if I want to do it. I mean, I do want to do it, but I don't want to do it. And I kind of went back and forth. Obviously, I was like, no, I won't delay it. And I had surgery because here I am 1 month post-op, because I realized that delaying it wasn't going to make things better. It was just going to delay the whole process being done. So I might as well just get it over and done with. It really helped keep me calm that like the surgeon had even told me that this stage was going to be significantly easier than the first stage. What happened in my second stage is I had a little bit of scar tissue just revised because it was like tethering things that was just removed, and also the insertion of not boobs, testicles. I don't know why I'm doing that. The insertion of testicular implants. So it was very, very easy. Instead of like literally everything being reworked and like there being a significant amount of incisions and stitches, it was just 2 very small incisions, and it was no catheter and no overnight stay in hospital. So already it was like, yes, this is definitely going to be easy. I mean, it's still surgery, but it's going to be easier. The whole build up to having second stage surgery, the surgeon had told me he would only be putting in one of the implants due to space issues. Let's just put it that way. But I wake up from surgery and he's like, hey, I got both in, and I'm just like, woohoo! And then he follows that up by saying, but it's very tight, you're gonna have to walk like John Wayne, or they could pop back out the incisions. So I go from woohoo to what? It was like a roller coaster, that sentence. I was so incredibly happy and then so incredibly freaked out by the thought of my balls popping out. But at 1 month post-op, neither has popped out. They are very much in place, and I do not think I am at risk anymore of one of them like watching who. It looks like they're both going to stay there, which is fantastic. And what it means is that I am very highly likely to be done with surgeries in terms of my transition, which is like, holy wow, an amazing place to be. I can't I can't quite describe it. The actual surgery, like the time I was under anesthetic, was only about 25 minutes. Like it was super quick, which meant like I wasn't affected as much by the anesthetic, which was fantastic because normally I'm affected really badly. But that was about 25 minutes, and the whole time frame from like when I went in to have surgery to like going home was 4.5 hours. And I first knew that this recovery was going to be so much easier than first stage when I went to pee for the first time. And I was like able to get myself out of bed. I mean, when I say able to get myself, like it was very slow, very awkward. I was in a bit of pain, but I could get myself out of bed. I waddled to the toilet, very carefully sat down, and I did a wee, and it was all good. And I did that by myself, and then I went back to bed. It was great, and I was like, oh my God. So I went home the same day, like a few hours out of surgery, and for the first few days I was home, I literally stayed in bed. I took it really easy. I only got up to go to the toilet, or if I like really had to. I think my steps for those first 2 days were like 100 steps a day or something. It was very, very low. And I was really walking like I pooped myself. Then about 1 week post-op, I was slowly starting to get back to normal. I was like walking around the house more. I had my first trip to Tesco. I felt really awkward though because I was still waddling, like majorly waddling and being very slow. And the pain was pretty minimal. To be honest, it just felt like quite intense bruising. Nothing too severe. I was just taking paracetamol for it. Then after about 2 weeks, I was sleeping on my side again. I was sleeping with like a pillow or the scrunched up duvet between my legs so that they weren't clamped together and everything wasn't like completely squashed. But I was back on my side, which was fantastic because like I hate sleeping on my back. And I actually went to Transpride Brighton from like 12 days post-op to 2 weeks post-op. We were there for a few days. It was okay. I mean, like I was a bit uncomfortable. I was still in a bit of pain. It still felt like very bruised. So like sitting in a field and on the beach and walking around so much was not the most pleasant thing, but it was perfectly manageable. And then since just under like 3 weeks post-op, I have been pretty back to normal, to be honest. Everything's been fine. The bruising was completely gone. The swelling was well on its way to being completely gone. I wasn't waddling. I was fully sleeping on my side. I was driving. It was great. And now at like 1 month post-op, all I'm waiting on is a few stitches to come out. There's still like a bit of pain. I can't quite describe it. Like right now, this is TMI. This is way TMI. Okay. Right now, I'm kind of like touching the chair. I'm wearing jeans and like, I'm not like just bottomless or anything, but like through my jeans and stuff, I can feel them pushing on the chair. And there's like a little bit of discomfort, and it does feel a bit like a bruise and just like an achy pain, but it's nothing too bad. I just have to readjust every so often. I don't know if that's like a permanent thing or if that's a healing thing, but it's not that bad. And I'm just waiting for the last of the stitches to come out. They say dissolvable, but I swear they will just like push out the incisions and then fall out eventually when it's all healed up. But they used a mixture of stitches and surgical glue. All the glue's been off for a while now. It just like eventually just breaks off, and then most of the stitches has come out. There's just a handful that I'm waiting on, and I can't wait for them to come out because they are quite prickly. I don't know how to describe it, but they're like plasticky, so they're quite sharp, and it's a very tender area to have a sharp thing. Anyway, so that's how recovery has gone. It's been incredibly smooth. I literally was only like away from normal life for about a week to 10 days. And in terms of like adjusting to life with balls, it's been easier than I thought it would have been, but there have been a few little weird things. And just for context, like the positioning of everything, my balls sit kind of like lower and a little bit more in between my legs than you would typically find on a cis guy. They're not like in between my legs, but they're not quite as high up. So I think it's taking a little bit more adjusting to not squish things when I'm like sitting down with my legs shut or like crossing my legs or like standing in a certain way. Things are getting squished a bit. It's all fun. And I have a bulge now. I'm not going to show you in this video, but it's legit there. Like it's small and it sits lower than average or what you would typically expect, but it's there and I'm really happy. I don't care about how big it is. It's present and correct. And it's amazing. And looks wise, I'm super happy with the appearance. It looks how I wanted it to look when I started this journey. I like it. I'm very happy with it. Yay. One of the implants currently sits lower than the other. One of them is like very high up. Apparently this is really normal and the balls aren't meant to be even anyway. The high up one should eventually drop down. I need to like encourage it a little bit, but we're only at a month. And it can take a while for these things to settle down. Surgery is not an instant fix. It's a difficult thing to go through and you need to be very, very patient because like you wake up and it's like, oh my God, I've had surgery, like my life is gonna change. But then you need to wait for the recovery to happen and recovery can be a pain in the butt. I am not worried about one sitting higher. I kind of like it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know why, but I quite like the appearance of one being higher than the other. Sensation wise, I have full sensation in my penis and then there are just numb areas on the balls, but that's kind kind of how it was first stage. All the sensation in the numb areas came back eventually, so it will come back eventually. Now I'm just waiting. Honestly, hands down, the hardest thing about this surgery was the cannula. I had it in this hand and it really hurt going in, way more than normal, and I hate cannulas. I can't think about them because it's that little tubey, the tubey thing, and oh no, it just makes me feel really uncomfortable. So that hurt going in, and I don't like looking at my hand or moving the hand that has the cannula in. And last time when I had first stage, they literally put it here. Worst. No, stop thinking about it. Fine with needles, I just hate cannulas. They gave me some anti-sickness medicine through the cannula because I threw up all my apple juice, and the anti-sickness stuff, it works really well for me. I did not feel sick anymore. I felt like I was in happy land, to be honest. But because she flushed it, did the anti-sickness, and then flushed it again. The first flush was fine, it just felt cold. When the anti-sickness went in, it stung, it hurt, and I said ow, and I don't normally complain. Like, I'm one of those people that sits and suffers through pain, even if I should say something because it will make it better, but I said something because it hurt. And then when she flushed it again, it was a little bit stingy, but not as bad. Oh, I swear I can feel it now. Oh, because I'm talking about it. It like tracked up my vein, I think that's what they called it. Like, one of my veins started going like really red. Up until like 4 weeks post-op, it was sore. Like, it was a really painful, bruised kind of sore whenever I touched it. And now it is still swollen. Like, you probably won't be able to see it, but like, I just have this vein here that is like really blobby, and I can feel it, and it's very big, and it's never normally like that. That was the worst thing about this surgery. That probably puts into context how easy the rest of it's been, but like, that was the most horrible thing. That's it for talking about being 1 month post-op. I hope you've enjoyed this update, and it's not been too long or boring, but I really wanted to like go into detail about it because I've really never heard anybody talk about this kind of thing or this stage of surgery in detail, so I wanted to do that. The Q&A, I was gonna like put it together and do a 1 month post-op / Q&A, but I didn't want this video to be really long because you guys sent in so many questions, but there was also so much I wanted to talk about in terms of the post-op experience, so I've decided to do 2 separate videos, and this will also give you a chance to leave more of your questions down below. It does not have to be related to this stage, it can be related to anything to do with lower surgery. I will answer as many as I feel comfortable to and try and make it as comprehensive as possible. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much guys for all the support with following me on this journey and everything, and it's meant a lot, and I'm really glad that I could share this journey with you, and I hope it's helped some of you guys just like with information or knowing what you want to do or just knowing what's out there or learning more about trans people in general. Like, I hope it's just been useful and helpful information. It's felt very personal, so I hope it's been worth sharing. This surgery that I've just had means so much to me. I know that sounds weird because it's getting balls, but at the same time, it's not just getting balls, it's what it symbolizes, and it symbolizes the end of this chapter of my life. And I can't put into words how much that means to me. F dysphoria, I don't know her anymore, barely. I mean, like, we have to be realistic here. There's still a little hello every now and then, but I don't have to think about this all the time. I've been discharged from the gender clinic. I am not working towards anything else now in terms of my transition. I can just move on. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for all your support, and I will see you next time. Much love, guys. Bye. Oh, I feel like this video has been hugely long. I'm so sorry. I waffle.